The blizzard had already decided who would live and who would lose everything. Leo Brennan found her in the ditch, unconscious, bleeding, wrapped in a coat worth more than his yearly rent. He didn't hesitate. His hands, calloused from fixing pipes in frozen basements, pulled her free. His daughter's Christmas lights blinked red and green across the woman's pale face as he laid her on their threadbare couch. She woke to peeling wallpaper and the smell of instant coffee. He saw a stranger who needed help. She saw the employee she'd never met, the one whose name she'd signed off a termination list that morning. Outside, the wind howled. Inside, neither knew the truth yet. That saving her life would cost him his job. That losing everything would teach her what wealth really meant. And that Christmas night would force them both to choose what they couldn't afford to lose. Leo Brennan's truck coughed twice before the engine caught. 11:47 on Christmas Eve, and his 7-year-old daughter was asleep at Mrs. Chen's apartment, clutching the stuffed rabbit her mother had sewn 3 years ago. Before the cancer, before the debt. His phone buzzed. "Harper's fine. Made cookies. Don't rush." Leo typed back thanks, adding, "Be there by midnight. Promise." The engineering degree sat in a box in their closet. 5 years ago, he'd been designing HVAC systems for commercial buildings. Then his wife got sick, and he'd chosen her bedside over his career. Every time. The company had been understanding, then impatient, then done with him. Medical bills had taken the house. Now he fixed pipes in frozen basements for barely enough to stay afloat. His supervisor's words from last week echoed. Budget cuts coming. Might have to let some people go. The storm picked up as he drove Route 17. Snow came down thick and fast, reducing visibility to 20 feet. Leo took this empty road because it saved 15 minutes, 15 more minutes with Harper in the morning. The truck's headlights caught something ahead, a shape in the ditch. Not a deer, a car. Tilted in the ditch, front end crumpled, headlights dim against the white. Leo pulled over and grabbed his flashlight. The cold hit like a fist as he trudged through ankle-deep snow toward the wreck. Expensive car, leather interior. A woman slumped against the steering wheel, blonde hair matted with blood. He knocked on the window. No response. The driver's door was jammed. Leo found a piece of concrete and smashed the passenger window, reached through, unlocked it. The woman's breathing was shallow, her skin waxy. He checked for injuries, just the head wound, and lifted her out. His truck's cab still held warmth. Leo wrapped her in his emergency blanket and rubbed her feet. No cell signal. The hospital was an hour away in this storm. His apartment was 10 minutes. He drove slowly, one hand checking she was still breathing. The storm had intensified. Twice the tires lost traction. But he made it. Leo carried her inside and up to his second-floor apartment. He laid her on the couch, cleaned the head wound, applied butterfly bandages. Her pupils were reactive. Good sign. Her designer coat was soaked. Cashmere, probably worth more than his monthly salary. He peeled it off carefully, covered her with every blanket he owned, and turned up the space heater. The Christmas lights Harper had strung up blinked red and green across the woman's face. Leo sat in the chair and waited. Past midnight now. Christmas Day. The woman stirred, eyelids fluttering. "Hey," Leo said softly. "You're safe. You were in an accident." Her eyes opened very blue, unfocused, then sharpening. Taking in the peeling wallpaper, the water-stained ceiling, the stack of bills on the coffee table. "Where?" Her voice was rough. "My apartment. Found you on Route 17. Couldn't get cell service for an ambulance." She tried to sit up. Leo moved to help, but she flinched away. "Take it easy. You hit your head." She touched the bandage, wincing. Her gaze moved around the room. The engineering textbooks, the framed photo of Leo and Harper, the work boots by the door. "I need to make a call," she said. "Phone's in the kitchen. Storm's bad, though." She walked carefully to the kitchen, unsteady. Picked up his phone, stared at it, set it down. "It's dead. Charger's by the bed." "No, I just need a minute. Leo made tea. The kettle whistled. Catherine appeared in the doorway, pale with dark circles under her eyes. I'm Catherine, she said. Leo. He handed her a mug. You should sit. Possible concussion. I should call someone. My staff will be worried. Staff? She didn't answer. They sat at the small kitchen table. Catherine held the mug but didn't drink. Thank you for helping me, she said finally. Anyone would have. No, not anyone. Outside, the wind rattled windows. The space heater hummed. Do you have family? Leo asked. No family, and the people looking for me can wait until morning. She was deliberately vague. That was fine. He'd pulled her from a ditch, but that didn't entitle him to her story. You can take my bed. I'll sleep in the chair. Catherine studied him. You do this often? Bring strangers home? First time. Why? Because it was the right thing to do, and because I know what it's like to need help. Something shifted in her expression. The guard dropped slightly. What do you do, Leo? Fix things. Pipes, mostly. Water heaters. You have a daughter? Harper, 7. Staying with a neighbor tonight. Your wife? Died 3 years ago. Cancer. I'm sorry. The words held genuine feeling. Leo looked up. Is that why you're here instead of somewhere nicer? Catherine gestured at the apartment. Medical debt. You ever been broke? She smiled without humor. No. I've been many things, but never that. Must be nice. You'd think so. There was a story there. But before Leo could ask, Catherine stood. I should rest. She disappeared into the bedroom. Leo sat alone, wondering what kind of person he'd invited into his home. Someone with staff. Someone who drove expensive cars. Someone out in a blizzard on Christmas Eve for reasons she wouldn't explain. Leo cleaned up and tried to sleep in the chair. Eventually, exhaustion won. Dawn light woke him. 6:15. Catherine was moving in the bedroom. Leo made coffee, the ancient machine burbling and hissing. Catherine emerged, transformed somehow though wearing the same clothes. Hair pulled back, face washed, bandage stark white. How do you feel? Like I hit my head. She took the coffee. Storm stopped. I can get you to a hospital. Figure out your car. My assistant will handle it. I don't need a hospital. Concussions are serious. I'll have my doctor look at it. She finished the coffee quickly. I should go. Stay for breakfast. My daughter will want to meet you. Catherine hesitated, then nodded. Breakfast. Then I go. Leo scrambled eggs, toasted, slightly stale bread. They ate in comfortable silence. This is good, Catherine said. It's just eggs. No, it's more than that. Leo's phone buzzed. Mrs. Chen saying Harper was awake. 10 minutes, he told Catherine, then jogged down to collect his daughter. Harper launched at him. Daddy, it's Christmas Eve. Come on, Bug. We have a guest. Harper's eyes went wide. Who? A friend who needed help. Harper pulled him upstairs and pushed through the door. Catherine stood looking at the framed photo. She turned, crouched to Harper's level. Hi, you must be Harper. You're pretty. What happened to your head? I had an accident, but I'm okay now. Daddy fixes things when they break. Did he fix you? In a way, yes. Harper walked to their small, scraggly Christmas tree decorated with paper ornaments. Do you like our tree? It's beautiful. The lights don't work right. They blink funny, but Daddy says that makes them special. Catherine's expression did something complicated. Your daddy is right. Special is better than perfect. Leo felt something shift, before and after. I should go, Catherine said. Thank you, Leo, for everything. Let me give you a ride. I've called for a car. His phone buzzed text from unknown number. Car is outside for Miss Ashford. That's me, Catherine Ashford. The name meant nothing to Leo. Harper ran over and hugged her legs. Merry Christmas. Catherine bent and hugged back. Over Harper's shoulder, she looked at Leo. Something passed between them. "Merry Christmas, Harper." Then she was gone. Leo watched from the window as a black SUV pulled away. "I liked her," Harper said. "Me too. Bug. Will she come back?" "I don't think so." Later that day, after Harper went to bed exhausted from Christmas excitement, Leo looked up Catherine Ashford. The results filled his screen. CEO of Ashford Industries. Billions. And his stomach dropped, majority owner of the company his employer contracted with. His boss's boss's boss. Tomorrow there'd be a termination letter waiting. Budget cuts. He knew it with certainty. The woman he'd saved was the woman who'd decided he wasn't worth keeping. Leo set his phone down and stared at the ceiling. The Christmas lights blinked. He thought about how she'd looked at everything, taking inventory. Did she know when she sat in his kitchen that she'd already signed his termination? He wanted to be angry, but mostly he just felt tired. The termination letter arrived Monday morning in his work locker. Leo read it twice, folded it, pocketed it. His hands were steady. 10 minutes later, his supervisor found him. "Forget the letter. Upper management sent new orders. You're being transferred. Some pilot program." Leo went home confused. Then, 3 days later, another envelope arrived. From Ashford Industries directly. Heavy paper. Formal words. Clear meaning. Ashford Industries was launching an initiative to identify talented employees who'd left professional careers due to family circumstances. They'd reviewed Leo's file. They were offering him senior mechanical engineer, flexible hours for single parents. The salary made him sit down, more than before his wife got sick. Benefits included health care, education assistance for Harper. At the bottom, handwritten, "You showed me what really matters. Now let me show you that some doors don't have to stay closed." C. A. Leo called the number listed. "Miss Ashford's office." "This is Leo Brennan. I received a letter." "One moment, Mr. Brennan." Then, "Leo," Catherine's voice. "I don't understand. The position is real. You're qualified. You have a degree, 5 years of experience, and work ethic that exceeds any metric. You'd already decided to fire me. I'd signed off on budget cuts without knowing the names. That's different." "Is it?" "Yes, and I'm trying to fix it. Not just for you, for everyone. But you showed me I needed to fix it. By saving your life? By treating me like a person who mattered, even when you had nothing and I had everything. I can't take charity. This isn't charity. It's an opportunity. 3 months probation. Full review by the engineering board. If you fail, you're out. But if you succeed, you'll have the career you should have had. Your board will never approve this. I'm the CEO. Let me worry about my board." "Why?" Catherine's voice softened. "Because I grew up with nothing, Leo. I built this from nothing. Somewhere along the way, I forgot what that felt like. You reminded me." Leo thought about Harper, about promises, about the man he'd been and could be again. The flexible hours, that's real? Real. Single parents, caretakers, anyone with responsibilities. You'll be the test case. And if I fail? Then you fail. At least you tried. Leo looked around his apartment. At the water stain. At Harper's drawings. At the space where his wife used to sit. I'll need it in writing. You'll have it tomorrow. And Catherine, thank you. Don't thank me yet. We don't believe in easy positions. But he could hear the smile in her voice. Maybe hope. Maybe broken things could be fixed. Maybe broken lights were special. They said goodbye. Leo pulled out his old degree from the closet. Dusty frame, yellowed paper. But his name was still there. Maybe he could be that person again. Harper found him on the floor with textbooks. What are you doing? Remembering. And planning. Planning what? The future. She climbed into his lap. Is it a good future? Yeah, bug. I think it might be. The 3-month probation was brutal. Leo had forgotten how demanding engineering was. First week, 12-hour days relearning updated software. Second week, presenting designs to senior engineers who tore them apart. Found flaws. Asked questions he should have anticipated. Leo told Harper he might fail. She hugged him and said that was okay, as long as he tried his best. He went back and fixed the design. When they tore that apart, he fixed it again. Slowly, criticism became constructive. Questions became interested. Catherine kept her distance. He'd see her in halls, surrounded by assistants. She'd nod. He'd nod back. They didn't speak. Then his HVAC proposal for the new headquarters landed on her desk, and she called him to her office. The executive floor was glass and steel and city views. Catherine's office was at the end. Her assistant ushered him in. "Your design is brilliant," Catherine said. "Efficiency calculations will save millions. Environmental impact 30% carbon reduction." The board approved it. "You're no longer on probation." Relief flooded through Leo. "Thank you. I won't let you down." "You haven't yet. But that's not why I called you." She picked up a folder. "The flexible hours policy has been approved company-wide, thanks to your success. You were the test case. You proved it works. The board wants you to lead implementation. Associate Director of Engineering and Workplace Innovation." Leo opened the folder. 3 pages. Terrifying responsibility. More money than he'd dreamed of. "Can I think about it?" "Take the weekend." "But Leo, you've proven you can do this." She came around the desk. Close enough he could see the faint scar on her forehead. "How's Harper?" "Great. Honor roll last month." "You must be proud." "I'm the lucky one." They stood in the expensive office. Leo thought about Christmas Eve, carrying her through snow, coffee in his kitchen, how saving someone meant letting them save you back. "I'll think about it. And Catherine, thank you. Not just for the job, for all of it. Thank you for not leaving me in the snow." She smiled. Real, not professional. It changed her whole face. That weekend, Leo talked to Harper at their kitchen table. She listened seriously. "Would you be gone more?" she asked. "Some days, but I'd still pick you up most days." "Would you be happy?" Would he? Designing systems, helping other parents, waking up feeling like his work mattered. "Yeah, I think I would." "Then do it. Mommy would want you to be happy." Leo's throat tightened. His 7-year-old daughter, already wiser than him. "Okay, I'll do it." Monday morning, he told Catherine yes. The paperwork was processed by Wednesday. By Friday, he was sitting in meetings with HR directors and department heads, explaining how the new policy would work. Some of them were skeptical. Some were openly hostile. But Leo had spent 3 months proving himself to engineers who'd wanted him to fail. He could handle skeptical HR directors. The policy rolled out in phases over the next 6 months. Leo worked longer hours than he ever had fixing pipes, but it felt different, like building something instead of just maintaining what was broken. Harper adjusted. Mrs. Chen still helped sometimes. Leo hired a babysitter for the late days, a college student named Rebecca who Harper adored. They moved to a better apartment, 2 real bedrooms, heat that worked in all the rooms, no water stains on the ceiling. Harper got her own space to decorate. Leo bought new furniture that didn't come from thrift stores. It was strange, having money. He kept expecting it to disappear. But it didn't. The paychecks came regularly. The work continued. The policy helped dozens of employees in the first year, then hundreds. Leo got letters from single parents thanking him, from people caring for elderly relatives who'd been about to quit because they couldn't manage both, from anyone who'd ever felt like work and life were incompatible. He kept the letters in a folder. On hard days, he read them, reminded himself why it mattered. Catherine was busy running an empire. Leo saw her occasionally at company events. They'd talk briefly, polite, professional, but there was always something underneath, a recognition, a connection formed in a blizzard and maintained through the careful work of building something that mattered. Nearly a year after that Christmas Eve, Leo's design for the headquarters won an industry award. The ceremony was formal, black tie. The kind of event Leo had never attended even when he'd been an engineer before. He brought Harper. She wore a red dress they'd picked out together, and she was impossibly proud of her father. Leo wore a suit he'd bought specifically for this. It fit properly. The shoes were comfortable. He barely recognized himself in the mirror. Catherine was at the ceremony. She sat at the head table with other CEOs and industry leaders. When Leo's name was called, she stood and applauded. Their eyes met across the ballroom. She nodded. He nodded back. After the ceremony, at the reception, Catherine found him standing alone near the windows. Harper had gone off with Rebecca to look at the ice sculptures. "Congratulations," Catherine said. "The award is well deserved." "Thank you. Wouldn't have been possible without you. You did the work. You opened the door." She turned to look out the window. The city spread below them, lights twinkling in the winter darkness. "Do you ever think about that night?" she asked. "Sometimes. I think about it often. How different everything would be if you'd just driven past." "I couldn't have." "I know. That's what made it matter." She turned back to him. "You asked me once if I'd ever been broke. I told you no, but that I'd been many things. Do you want to know what things? If you want to tell me. Lonely. Isolated. Successful by every metric that matters in boardrooms and completely failing at being human." She smiled, but it was sad. "You and Harper reminded me what human looked like. I've been trying to find my way back ever since." Leo didn't know what to say. The ballroom was full of people networking and drinking expensive champagne, but in this moment it felt like just the two of them. "You're doing good work with the policy," he said finally. "Helping a lot of people. We're doing good work, you and me. Partnership? Of a kind." Harper appeared then, Rebecca in tow, chattering excitedly about the ice sculptures. She saw Catherine and waved. "Miss Ashford, did you see Daddy's award?" "I did. Very impressive. He's the best engineer in the world." "I believe you're right." Harper beamed. Then she did something that surprised both adults. She hugged Catherine's legs, just like she had that Christmas morning a year ago. "Thank you for helping my dad," Harper said. Catherine bent down. "Thank you for sharing him with me." When Harper ran off again, Catherine straightened and looked at Leo. "She's wonderful." "She is. You've done well with her. Especially given..." She stopped. "Given that I'm doing it alone?" "Yeah, it's not easy, but she makes it worth it. You're lucky to have each other." "We are." They stood together in comfortable silence, watching Harper chase Rebecca around the ice sculptures. Outside the windows, snow began to fall. Light, gentle flakes that caught the city lights and turned them into something magical. "It's snowing," Catherine said. "So it is. I don't mind it anymore. Snow. I used to hate winter. Too cold, too dark. But now..." She shrugged. "Now I think about Christmas lights that blink wrong and are still special. And I don't mind the cold so much." Leo looked at her. Really looked. The CEO facade had dropped. She was just Catherine, the woman he'd pulled from a wrecked car, the woman who'd sat in his kitchen drinking instant coffee, the woman who'd believed in him enough to fight her board of directors. "Are you happy?" he asked. "More than I was. Not as much as I could be. But I'm working on it. That's all any of us can do." "Yes." She met his eyes. "I suppose it is." The moment stretched. Leo felt something shift, the same way it had that Christmas morning. A sense of possibility, of doors that might open if you were brave enough to walk through them. But before either of them could say anything more, Harper was back, tugging on Leo's sleeve and asking if they could leave soon because she was tired. Leo laughed and agreed. He said goodbye to Catherine with a handshake that lasted just a moment longer than professional. "See you at the office," he said. "See you there." Leo left with Harper and Rebecca, his award carefully wrapped in tissue paper. In the car, Harper fell asleep against his shoulder. Rebecca scrolled through her phone, and Leo drove through the snowy streets, thinking about chances and choices and how sometimes the smallest decisions changed everything. The second Christmas came and went. Leo and Harper had a real tree this year, a big one that touched the ceiling. The lights worked properly. Everything was perfect. But sometimes, late at night, Leo missed the scraggly tree and the broken lights, missed the apartment where everything was falling apart, but somehow they'd been okay anyway. Not the poverty, not the struggle, but the simplicity, the clarity of purpose, when all that mattered was keeping Harper safe and happy and loved. He mentioned this to Catherine once, at a team meeting where they were discussing the next phase of the workplace policy. She'd looked at him with complete understanding. "I have a penthouse with a view of the entire city," she'd said, "and some nights I'd trade it for that kitchen table where we drank instant coffee." "Would you really?" "No, but I'd like to find a way to have both. The success and the simplicity. The empire and the humanity. Let me know if you figure out how." "I will." Months passed. The policy expanded to other companies. Leo's design won more awards. Harper turned 8 and started asking questions about her mother that broke Leo's heart in the best possible way. He answered them honestly, sharing memories, keeping his wife alive in their daughter's mind. Catherine dated someone from the board. It didn't last. She dated someone else. That didn't last either. Leo heard about it through office gossip and tried not to think about why it mattered to him. He didn't date, partly because he was busy, partly because Harper wasn't ready, mostly because the only person who'd made him feel anything in 3 years was his boss, and that was complicated in ways he didn't want to examine. Then came the company retreat. Annual event. All senior staff required to attend. 3 days at a resort upstate. Team-building exercises, strategic planning sessions. The kind of corporate thing Leo had learned to tolerate. Harper stayed with Mrs. Chen, who'd moved into a bigger apartment in their new building and loved having the company. Leo packed a bag and drove upstate with a carload of other engineers, listening to them complain about having to do trust falls and rope courses. The resort was nice, too nice. The kind of place where everything was carefully designed to look rustic but probably cost a fortune. Leo's room had a fireplace and a view of mountains. He felt out of place and tried not to show it. Catherine arrived in a helicopter. Leo watched from his window as it landed on the lawn, rotors kicking up snow. She stepped out wearing a business suit that probably cost what he used to make in 6 months. The CEO, arriving like a CEO does. But at dinner that night, she sat at his table, not at the head table with the other executives, at Leo's table with the engineers and project managers. "Mind if I join you?" she asked. Everyone minded, clearly. Having the CEO at your table meant watching everything you said. But no one was going to tell her no. "Of course," Leo said. She sat next to him, close enough that he could smell her perfume. Something subtle and expensive, close enough that their shoulders almost touched. The dinner was catered, multiple courses, wine that people nodded appreciatively over. Leo ate and participated in conversation and tried not to be hyper-aware of Catherine beside him. After dinner, there was a reception. Open bar, background music, networking. Leo got a beer and found a corner. He'd done his socializing. Now he wanted quiet. Catherine found him there. "Hiding?" she asked. "Observing. Mind if I observe with you? It's a free country." She laughed, got her own drink whiskey, neat, and leaned against the wall beside him. They watched the party together. Watched people network and politic and pretend 3 days of trust falls would make them a better team. "I hate these things," Catherine said quietly. "Then why do them?" "Because they matter. Teams that know each other work better together, even if the rope courses are ridiculous." "You're doing a rope course?" "Tomorrow morning. Required for all participants, including me. I'd pay to see that. Come along. Take pictures. Blackmail material for when I deny you a raise." They smiled at each other. The music was loud enough that no one could hear their conversation. In the crowd, they were invisible, just two people talking in a corner. "How's Harper?" Catherine asked. "Good. Growing up too fast. Starting to ask about boys. She's 8. I know. I'm not ready." "You'll never be ready. That's what makes you a good father." "Is that what makes good fathers?" "Being constantly terrified." Among other things. A comfortable silence fell. They watched the party, sipped their drinks. Leo felt something loosen in his chest. He was used to Catherine, the CEO. But this Catherine, the one who hid in corners at parties and admitted she hated corporate retreats, was different, more real. "Can I ask you something?" Leo said. "Of course. Are you happy? You said you were working on it, but are you?" Catherine considered the question. "I'm content. The company is doing well. The policy changes are making a difference. I sleep better than I used to." "That's not the same as happy." "No, it's not." She turned to look at him. "But I'm not sure I know how to be happy. Not the way you and Harper are. That kind of happiness seems like something you're born knowing, and I missed the lesson. It's not about knowing. It's about choosing. Every day you choose to find something good, something worth holding on to. Is that what you do?" "I try. Some days are easier than others." "And today?" Leo thought about that. About the award he'd won. About Harper thriving. About standing in a corner with a woman who'd changed his life and feeling like maybe, possibly, there was something here worth exploring. "Today's a good day," he said. Catherine smiled. "Yes, it is." The party continued around them. Neither moved from their corner. And when the event finally ended and people started filtering back to their rooms, they walked together through the resort hallways, not quite touching but close enough that Leo could feel the warmth of her presence. At her door, a suite, naturally, Catherine paused. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" "For being honest. For not treating me like the CEO. For—" She stopped. Started again. "For being you. I don't know how to be anyone else." "I know. That's what makes it matter." She looked at him. Leo looked back. The moment stretched. In another world, he might have kissed her. But this wasn't another world. This was his boss. His life was stable now. Harper was happy. He couldn't risk that for something that might not even be real. "Good night, Catherine." "Good night, Leo." He walked to his own room and lay awake for hours, staring at the ceiling, wondering if he'd just made a terrible mistake or dodged a bullet. In the morning, he still didn't know. The rope course was exactly as ridiculous as expected. Leo watched Catherine navigate it with determination and not much grace. She was afraid of heights. He could see it in how carefully she moved, but she did it anyway. That was who she was. Someone who did things even when they scared her. They drove back separately. The retreat ended. Life resumed its normal pattern. Work and Harper and the careful balance Leo had built. He told himself that was enough. That the moment at Catherine's door had been nothing. That they were colleagues who'd helped each other once and now maintained a professional relationship. He told himself this for 6 months. Then Harper asked when Miss Ashford would come to dinner. "What?" Leo looked up from the design he'd been reviewing. "Miss Ashford. From Christmas. When's she coming to dinner?" "She's not coming to dinner, Bug. She's my boss." That's not how it works." "Why not?" "Because," Leo struggled to explain corporate hierarchy to an 8-year-old. "Because she's very busy. And important. She doesn't have time for dinner with us. But she came to breakfast before, after you saved her. Remember? I was there. That was different." "How?" Leo didn't have a good answer. How was it different? Because they'd been strangers then? Because the relationship had been simpler? Because now there were salaries and policies and professional boundaries that hadn't existed when it was just a man helping someone in trouble? "I'll think about it," he said, which was what parents said when they meant no but didn't want to argue. But Harper's question stuck with him. Why hadn't Catherine come to dinner? They'd worked together for over a year, built something meaningful. They were friends, weren't they? Or something like friends? Leo thought about the retreat, about standing in the corner talking, about the moment at her door, about all the conversations they'd had in meetings and hallways, professional on the surface but with something else underneath. He thought about it for a week. Then he sent Catherine an email. Harper asked when you're coming to dinner. I told her you were busy, but if you're ever not busy, the invitation stands. Leo. The response came an hour later. I'm free Saturday, if the offer is genuine. See, it is. Then I'd love to. Saturday, Leo cleaned the apartment even though it was already clean. He made lasagna because it was the one fancy dish he'd mastered. Harper helped him set the table with the good plates they never used. She was vibrating with excitement. Is Miss Ashford your girlfriend? Harper asked. No. She's my friend who happens to be a girl. But do you like her? Of course I like her. No, I mean like her. Leo stopped stirring the sauce. Bug, it's complicated. That means yes. That means I'm an adult, and adult feelings are complicated. Mom would want you to be happy. For the second time, his 8-year-old daughter had cut right to the heart of things. Leo knelt down to her level. You're right. She would. But happiness isn't just about what I want. It's about what's good for you, and what's smart, and what won't blow up in our faces. Miss Ashford is nice. She won't blow up in our faces. I hope you're right. The doorbell rang at 7 exactly. Catherine stood in the hallway wearing jeans and a simple sweater. No designer labels visible. No expensive jewelry except small earrings. She held a bottle of wine in one hand and a wrapped present in the other. Hi, she said. Hi. Leo stepped aside. Harper appeared immediately. Miss Ashford. Please, call me Catherine. She handed Harper the present. For you. I hope it's okay. Harper tore into the wrapping. Inside was a book, a beautiful, illustrated edition of fairy tales. Harper's eyes went wide. This is amazing. I thought you might like it. Your father mentioned you're reading above your grade level. Did he? Harper looked at Leo with delight. Dad talks about me? Sometimes, Leo admitted, when he's not being professional. They sat down to dinner. The lasagna was good. The wine was better. Catherine knew her wines. The conversation flowed easily. Harper dominated it, telling Catherine about school and her friends and the science project she was working on. Catherine listened with genuine interest, asked questions, laughed at Harper's jokes. Leo watched them interact and felt something in his chest expand. This was what he'd been missing. Not just romance, though, maybe that too, but partnership. Someone who could sit at his table and fit into his life without forcing it. After dinner, Harper showed Catherine her room. Leo cleaned up the kitchen, listening to their voices drift down the hallway. When they returned, Harper was yawning. Bedtime, bug, Leo said. But Catherine just got here. Catherine will still be here after you go to bed. Promise? Catherine met Leo's eyes over Harper's head. Promise. Leo got Harper ready for bed. When he came back out, Catherine was looking at the photos on the shelf. The same ones she'd looked at that first Christmas morning. You've added new ones, she said. Harper keeps growing. I keep taking pictures. This one is nice. She picked up a frame, Leo and Harper at the award ceremony. You both look so happy. We were. We are. Catherine set down the photo. Leo, I need to say something. His stomach tightened. Okay. Tonight it's been lovely. Harper is wonderful. She paused. You're exactly who I thought you were. But I don't know if I can do this. Do what? Whatever this is becoming. Because I'm your boss. And that creates problems. Power dynamics. Professional complications. If things went wrong, they wouldn't. You can't know that. Neither can you. They stood facing each other in his living room. The same living room where he'd brought her broken and bleeding. Where they'd drunk instant coffee. Where everything had started. I think about that night a lot, Catherine said. Christmas Eve. The blizzard. How you didn't hesitate to help me even though you had every reason to just drive past. And I wonder if I've been trying to repay that ever since. The job, the policy, all of it. If this, she gestured between them, is just me feeling obligated. Is it? I don't know. How do I know what's real and what's just gratitude? Leo stepped closer. Do you think about me when you don't have to? Yes. Do you look forward to seeing me at work even when there's no business reason? Yes. When Harper asked you to come to dinner, did you want to say yes? Immediately. Then it's real. It could still be a mistake. It could be. Leo reached out and took her hand. Her fingers were cold, just like they'd been that first night. But some mistakes are worth making. Catherine looked down at their joined hands. I'm not good at this. Relationships. I've tried before and failed. I work too much. I'm controlling. I have trouble trusting people. I'm a single father with a mountain of baggage and a daughter who has to come first, no matter what. We're both disasters. Maybe that's okay. Maybe disasters shouldn't date. Or maybe two disasters balance each other out. She smiled despite herself. That's terrible logic. I'm an engineer, not a philosopher. You're an engineer who saved my life and changed my company, and somehow made me want to try this, even though I know all the reasons it's complicated. So try it. Leo. One date. Actual date. Dinner somewhere that isn't my apartment. We see if this is real or if it's just two people who went through something intense together. If it's not real, we go back to being colleagues. If it is, we figure it out, like adults, carefully, with Harper's best interests first and our careers second, and whatever this is between us third. Catherine was quiet for a long moment. Then she nodded. One date. One date. But not anywhere fancy. I'm tired of fancy. How about the diner on 5th Street? Best coffee in the city. Instant coffee. Real coffee. But the diner kind. Not the $12 kind. Perfect. They stood there, still holding hands. Outside, snow had started to fall again. Light flakes that caught the streetlight and turned golden. Through the window, Leo could see the city settling in for another winter night. I should go, Catherine said. Okay, but neither of them moved. Finally, Catherine leaned in and kissed him. Just once, gently, on the lips. Then she stepped back. Good night, Leo. Good night, Catherine. He walked her to the door, watched her walk down the hallway to the elevator. She turned before getting in and waved. He waved back. When he checked on Harper, she was still awake. Did you kiss her? Harper asked. Were you spying? I got up for water. The hallway has good acoustics. Acoustics? Where did you learn that word? Catherine taught me. When we were talking about my room. Is she going to be your girlfriend? Leo sat on the edge of Harper's bed. Maybe. Would that be okay? Would she be nice to us? Yes. Would she try to be my new mom? No. Nobody can be your mom. Your mom is your mom. Catherine would just be someone who cares about us. Harper thought about that. Okay. Then it's okay with me. You're sure? Dad, you've been alone for 3 years. I'm 8, not stupid. I know you get lonely. Bug. It's okay to be lonely. And it's okay to not want to be lonely anymore. Mom would understand. Leo's eyes burned. He pulled Harper into a hug. His daughter. His wise, wonderful daughter who somehow understood things that adults twice her age couldn't grasp. I love you, he said. I love you too. Now go to sleep. You have a date to plan. You're bossy. I get it from you. Leo kissed her forehead and went to his own room. He lay awake thinking about possibilities, about risks and rewards, about the woman who'd crashed into his life on Christmas Eve and somehow stayed there, woven into the fabric of everything that mattered. The date was the following Saturday, the diner on 5th Street. Leo got there first and grabbed a booth by the window. Catherine arrived 5 minutes later, wearing jeans and a sweater that probably still cost more than his monthly salary but at least tried to look normal. They ordered coffee, the real diner kind. It came in chipped mugs and was too strong and absolutely perfect. "Harper gave me advice," Leo said. "Oh?" "She said to be myself and not try too hard to impress you." "Smart kid." "She also said if I mess this up, she's going to be very disappointed in me." "No pressure then." They laughed. The waitress came and took their order. 2 burgers, fries to share, nothing fancy, just food. "This is nice," Catherine said. "Normal." "When's the last time you did something normal?" "Define normal." "This. Diner. Burgers. A date that doesn't involve a 5-star restaurant and photographers outside." "You really hate the fancy stuff, don't you?" "I don't hate it, but it's exhausting. Always being on. Always being the CEO. Sometimes I want to be just Catherine." "You're just Catherine right now." "Am I?" "To me, you are. You've been just Catherine since that first night. CEO Catherine is the one I see at work. But this person, right here, this is the real you." She looked at him over her coffee mug. "How do you do that?" "Do what?" "See through all the walls I put up. Because I was there when the walls weren't up. Christmas Eve, you couldn't hide. You were hurt and scared and just a person who needed help. That's the Catherine I met. Everything else is just costume. The CEO is not a costume." "No, but it's armor. And you don't need armor with me." The food arrived. They ate and talked. About Harper. About work. About Catherine's childhood that she rarely discussed, growing up poor in a small town, fighting her way to college, building her company from nothing. About Leo's wife, and the grief that still hit him sometimes but didn't control him anymore. They talked about the blizzard and how strange it was that one night had led to all of this. How if Leo had taken a different route home, or if Catherine had left her meeting 5 minutes later, or if any of 1,000 small things had been different, they'd be strangers. "Do you believe in fate?" Catherine asked. "No, I believe in choices. You chose to drive through a blizzard. I chose to stop. Everything after that was just consequences. Good consequences. The best." After dinner, they walked. The city was quiet. Weekend evening, most people inside where it was warm. But Leo and Catherine walked the sidewalks, talking and not talking, comfortable in each other's presence. They ended up at a small park. Empty, except for them and the snow that crunched under their feet. Catherine sat on a bench. Leo sat beside her. "I'm scared," she said. "Of what?" "That I'll ruin this. That I'll be too much or not enough. That I'll hurt Harper. That I'll hurt you." "You won't. You can't know that." "No, but I trust you. You saved my career. You've been kind to my daughter. You show up even when it's hard. That's who you are. That's who I'm trying to be. But I've failed before. So have I. We'll probably fail again. But maybe we'll fail together." Catherine laughed. "That's a terrible romantic sentiment. I'm an engineer. Romance isn't my strong suit." "What is your strong suit?" "Showing up, trying, not giving up on things that matter." He took her hand. "You matter, Catherine." She turned to look at him. Her eyes were bright in the streetlight. "You matter too." They kissed again. Longer this time. Deeper. When they pulled apart, Leo was smiling. "What?" Catherine asked. "Harper's going to be insufferable. She'll say she knew it all along." She did know it all along. 8-year-olds see everything. They sat together on the bench as the snow fell. Not rushing, just being. 2 people who'd found each other in a blizzard and somehow, against all odds, decided to keep finding each other. "I need to tell the board," Catherine said. "About us, before someone else figures it out. Will they approve? Some will, some won't. But it doesn't matter. You report to the director of engineering now, not to me directly. We're not violating any policies. Still complicated. Everything worth having is complicated." They stayed until the cold drove them back to warmth. Leo walked Catherine to her car, a normal sedan tonight, not the town car with a driver. She hugged him goodbye. Held on a little longer than necessary. "Thank you," she said, "for taking a chance on me. Thank you for taking a chance on us." She drove away. Leo walked home through the snow, feeling lighter than he had in years. The apartment was quiet when he got there. Mrs. Chen had gotten Harper to bed. He paid her, thanked her, and checked on his daughter. She was asleep, clutching her stuffed rabbit, a slight smile on her face. Leo kissed her forehead and went to his own room. Tomorrow they'd figure out what came next, how to blend his life and Catherine's, how to make this work with all the complications. But tonight, he just lay in bed thinking about second chances, about closed doors that could open, about broken lights that were special, about a woman who'd crashed into his life and stayed, about how sometimes saving someone meant being saved in return. Outside, the snow continued to fall. The city slept, and in an apartment not far away, Catherine Ashford lay awake in her bed, thinking about a man who'd shown her what mattered, about a daughter who'd reminded her that love was simple if you let it be, about the choice she was making to try. The blizzard had decided who would live and who would lose everything. But what came after that was all choice. Their choice. Together. And for the first time in longer than she could remember, Catherine fell asleep smiling.